I want to say good afternoon to Corleone.
Good afternoon, my brother.
My guy, what's good? How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. We've finally got here.
Finally. I think the first way I want to set it up is one thing I've always got from you, from when we talked, is business,
Yeah.
hustle, entrepreneurship. So before we get into your own personal background, let's start with GB Records. Like, what's the aims and objectives for GB Records?
Well, the aims for GB is the aims now is just chart success. The artists that I've developed them. I've had them for a few years now, and it's just about getting them into that market now, where the wider market and making more people hear their music. So the aims right now is just to get into these charts independently, top 40s, top 20s, top 10s, whatever it is, to get there. We've got the listeners, the artists have got the critical acclaim, some of the artists have got a code. Yeah, it's just about that, making projects, just, no pressure as well. Even though we're trying to get into these spaces, no pressure, just getting into the spaces.
Which artists have you got currently signed to GB Records?
T Zandos,
She's cold. She's cold.
iSong,
Talented.
Diz, myself, and I've got an artist called Defundo.
Okay. Do you like a lot of your artists have had a label interest, right? And when you are somebody who understands the game of the music industry, how do you see it when labels are interested in your talent? How do you know if it's the right or the wrong deal for your artist? Because you got a label, but you're also a manager as well as an artist. So you're wearing so many hats. So how do you look at it when majors are trying to look at some of the talent that you do already have?
Well, you got to be open-minded, innit? Because they're coming to do business, and but a lot of the time it's A&Rs coming and hitting the artists up directly, and they can't make decisions themselves. So I would always tell the artists just be cautious and don't think because the A&R's hitting you up or anything like it's anything serious. But yes, you got to be open-minded. If they can offer a right deal that can suit the artist, then be open-minded about it, but just at the same time be careful of what you're getting into. And labels these days, they don't develop artists, so they want to see that you're doing numbers. So they're not really interested unless you can do numbers. So they're never coming for the talent really. Because they'll say, oh look, the artist ain't doing this amount of numbers, like da, 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 da. Then they'll devalue the artist's talent because of numbers. So I'd always tell the artist, just build yourself up till you got the talent, build yourself up till you're doing a certain amount of numbers, and you're a business now. Labels can look at you and invest, and you can tell them, right, I make this, I'm streaming this, or I'm doing this, and then it's a business now, innit?
Yeah, because I look at what you're doing with a lot of your artists. You actually are developing them, which is something that we don't actually see. Speaking of A&Rs, do you feel like they actually? I'll just say mostly the most of the black A&Rs in the industry. Do you think they really have the power, or it just feels like a lot of them they can't make that?
I'll say there's probably 10% of A&Rs that their bosses respect and can actually call things on and make things happen, but 90% of them haven't got that respect from their bosses, or they can't walk an artist in and say, yo, sign this artist, or it's all whatever the bosses say. So yeah, and they just have to make a name for themselves. It depends on who they've signed, what they've done in the past. But I'll just say that a lot of the A&Rs can't really make decisions. They go around talking to these young artists and kind of gas them up, because the young artists think, oh, this label, Sony's hitting me up, or Polydor, yeah, I'm gonna get a deal. And these times the deal ain't even happening. Nothing's not even happening. The A&R kind of just likes your thing, and it's just hitting you up.
Yeah, I think what it usually comes down with, most A&Rs will be like, yeah, like what you're doing, send us some music, let us know what's going on. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I feel a lot of them are just, it's a bit like send out you. It's like, just go see what's going on. And if anyone else gets interested, let us know. But, that's why I really respect what you're doing. Because, for example, T. Sandos is, she's getting a lot of...
So with my artists, I'll just tell them, yo, the A&Rs are hitting you up. The A&Rs will DM them. They'll send them on I'll say to the artist, "Well, just let me talk to them. You don't really need to go and see them or whatever." You get me? And they trust me to do that. Because I think it's, I just tell the artist, concentrate on your music, just make hits. That's all I'm interested in, hits. That's all that's what's gonna make the label bosses interested in you, hits,
Being an artist yourself, though, how does it? Because I think it's not. I won't say it's like 50 Cent, G Unit, or Lil Wayne, Cash Money, but then, like, I've always wondered, like, how you managing all those spinning plates. Like, it's a lot. Like, bro, I know for artists in general, it's hard. Like, they're not the easiest people to deal with at the best of times. But you also have your own objectives as an artist. Like, how are you doing it? Not all by yourself. I know you have a team.
Yeah.
But how do you manage them all, though?
To be fair, I'm doing this because I love it. If I didn't love this, I wouldn't be doing this, The position we're in now and where we're coming from, like me having these artists from when they was young and seeing them develop and getting the love that they're getting now, to me, it's like, it's a great feeling. And, like, artists will be artists. People are human beings. I'm good at dealing with people. Dealing with different characters and dealing with people, and it's calm. It can get a lot, I'm sure that I probably do my artists as nothing, they do my nothing, but it's real, innit? And we got to deal with whatever comes. We got to deal with it and move forward, and that's what it is. When we was young, there was no hope for us, for the young youths today, coming up in the streets. There's hope for them because there's so much people of where they're from that are doing well and have made it from where they come from. When we was younger, there was no hope. Like, there was no such thing. Like, we only used to see So Solid, and they was like superstars. You couldn't think, rah, we could be them, or do you know what I mean? It weren't really like that. So it was just like, like, you couldn't. When you was young, you just had a vision of when going on the road. OGs are gangsters, making money, driving cars. That's all we saw and wanted to be. Now these youths can see rappers, rap stars, they're mashing, they're driving nice cars, they got all the girls. The youths can thrive to be them.
So it's all about motivation and like inspiration.
Yeah.
I think it's great to see, because I think we are seeing people can make quote unquote money from music, but like, just even like, because Snap is here, people don't know. But how did you guys even meet, you and Snap? Because I'm not familiar how you guys' relationship started. One
of my young bucks was in jail in Feltham with Capone, and obviously Capone knew who I was. I knew who he was. You get me? I was going to visit the youth, and I'll see Capone on the visits, and and then a few years later, I ended up in Belmarsh. I had a case, and I ended up in Belmarsh, and our relationships started there. Really, you get me? We came very close. And Belmarsh was in there for like a year or something like that. I come out, and then when he finally come out, I started doing this music thing, and like, he just embraced me musically, and I embraced him. You get me? And our relationship grew from there.
Bro, like, Belmarsh is that's like a serious job, right? Or is it not? I mean, how does it work out?
You know what? The serious jails in the UK are the dispersals, isn't it? Like Belmarsh.
So what's a dispersal? Sorry, I actually don't know what that means.
It's like them jails where all the lifers are.
Okay.
People with big sentences, and there's serious things going on in them jails. And Belmarsh is a serious jail. It's a legendary prison, but like, it's just prison, isn't it?
Do you find prison reforms people, or do you think it makes people worse?
It depends on the character. I'll say when I went prison, I went to big man jail. When I first went to big man jail, was high down, and I was 18, and that taught me how to be a man. When I was younger, I was babied a lot. Like, your mum would cook food for you, wash your clothes, and You don't know how to do fuck all. So when I got into that prison, that taught me how to be a man. You have to be a man. You have to learn. You have to defend yourself. I learned that in the streets anyway. But especially in prison, you're on your own. So you could step onto a landing. There's some other guys, they don't know who the fuck you are. People are going to test you. You get me? You got to stand on your feet and stand your ground and make people know, rah, I'm not fucking about. Don't fuck about with me. Don't go in my cell. Don't steal my shit. Just don't fuck with me. You get me? And a lot of the time in prison, you have to make that known. Now, like, in the latter days when we go into prison, like, the whole jail knows who we are or whatever. So it's like a walk in the park. But in the early days, you kind of got to stamp your ground. You get me?
So what's the again? What does it mean if someone like comes into your cell? Like, what is it?
Like I'll say, when I first went into high down, the first few days. So I got in there. I'm a quiet guy. Like I'll just kind of keep myself to myself. I'm banged up with 2 white youths. They're cool, but they're kind of like nerds. You get me? Like not nerds, but they're just not really like that. Anyway, like got my canteen, my cocoa butter, and all of that. Went to go and have a shower. Come back. My cocoa butter's missing. You get me?
Man, I have a creamy skin.
So I'm saying, rah, like, there's chocolates and their stuff's missing. So I'm saying to them, rah, what, go on? They're like, oh, like, I think them youths next door, they always take our stuff and da-da-da. So I'm saying, rah, like... So I've gone out on the landing and checked the youths next door, and I said, yo, whatever you took out my cell, put it back in my cell, and put my shit back and put my cellmate's shit back. And they was like, right. I said, yeah, put my shit back, I'm going to break your fucking head, bro. Like, da-da-da-da. So make sure by the time I go and get my dinner and come back, my shit's there. He's like, what? I said, well, come in the shower now, innit? But the youths, they're not even like, the youths are just bullying the white youths, and they're not really even like that themselves, you get me? So by the time I come back, they put the, oh, you don't need to go on like that. I said, bro, don't touch none of my shit, don't touch my cellmate shit. Boom. No one else would fuck with man's shit. They see, well, you know what I mean? And that's prison. Every prison you go, you got to stamp your authority, you get me? Like, you might go to a prison in fucking Nottingham or wherever. People don't know who you are. Your reputation and your ends, like, they don't know. So you have to stamp your authority and stand for your shit. Otherwise, people will just take the piss out of you.
Do you, I think a common thing that I found, like, even from speaking to, like, other artists is that people who used to have beef on different ends, when they get into jail, sometimes they may realize, like, you know, it's not like that. Was that like that for you, or was it different, or was it more political?
You know what, like, serious beef, it does get like that. It does get like that, but serious beef, some people, they don't become friends in jail, innit? Like, I see people saying that, but like serious beef where people are killing each other, like it kicks off in jail, and I've seen it go off, you get me? But then, like, it's wishy-washy, because jail is jail, road is road. So when you're in jail, it's a different world, isn't it? Like, everyone's trying to do their bird. You might have beef with them and I think, oh, like, whatever. You don't even talk to him like that, but you know what it is. You know what I mean? Like, but jail is jail, the streets is the streets. You get me? And in jail, a lot of the prison systems in the UK are run by the Brotherhood and Islam. So once you come into jail, you come to the masjid, the brothers will tell you, oh, whatever beef you man I got, leave that on the roads and da-da-da-da-da, you know what I mean? So it's just one of them ones.
What was it like for your family when you're inside, though? Like, you said, like, you know, you went in, like, you're not babied, but you had your mum, like, doing stuff. Like, how does she deal with you then going inside? That must have been a challenge.
With the life that I was living and, you know, the life that I grew up in, it was always something that was on the table.
Okay.
You know, like, jail was always something that I looked at like, right, could happen. And I'm sure my mother, you know, with the life that I was living, she knew in the back of her mind that it could happen. And obviously, like, she wouldn't wish that for her son, or, like, you know, she probably wouldn't believe her son was doing all the stuff that I was doing or whatever. But, you know, like, that's just the life we grew up in. You know, my brothers was doing things when I was younger. I saw them doing stuff, then I was doing stuff. Like, it's just something we had to deal with.
Sometimes people say that, and I'm not going to put this on TV, but they say that, like, jail sometimes saved their life because it kept them away from the streets when things were really active.
Yeah, you could say that. And jail, to me, as a street guy, if you're serious in the street, jail's only going to expand you, because you're going to go into prison, you're going to meet other guys, you know, like, at the same level you are from other areas, or guys that are on a higher level than you, and, you know, jail's only going to expand you, you know. It depends what you use jail to do. And you can create a lot of good friendships in jail. Like, you meet a lot of real people in there. In prison, it's not the street. So you might be in prison and a man's next door to you and he just dresses normal. He wears, like, normal trainers and a tracksuit. You don't know this guy's a millionaire. You get me? So you can't really judge people by the cover. You have to judge people of how they deal with you and how you deal with them. And, you know, you really get to know people in prison.
I mean, what else does it teach you? Because I think, you know, I've never been inside, never sat down. Obviously, I have friends who have, but you know, you said it's about your character. But when you were inside, what did it bring out of you, like in terms of your character? What did you learn about yourself?
I learned that I like to be. I like my own space. So when I'm in prison, I hate being in a cell with people. I like my own space. I just like to be in my own space so I can ponder and think. I like to be organised, you get me? When you're in prison, you got to be organised. Everything's in check, you know. I like to be up in the morning before the cells even open the door. And I say, like, a lot of people go to prison and they come out without learning. Like, they go into prison, they don't read, they don't train. When you go into prison, that's what you should be really doing: reading, learning, studying, training, bettering your mind and your body. Yeah.
When did actually the whole GB movement start?
In 2014.
Okay. So when did you actually come out then?
2012. Okay. 2012 or 13 or something like that, yeah.
So was the plan for GB cultivated whilst you was inside? You knew when you were coming out, this is what you're going to do?
No, I wasn't planning to do the GB thing until like a short time before it. What happened is I went to the Mobiles in 2013. Us, Fecky, we had a table at the Mobiles, So this was the first time we come into the industry and kind of see what was going on. You get me, Smiley, Skeng, Fecky, my cousin Big Bance, couple Peckham, and we had a table. So it's the first time where I was in this industry and seeing what's going on. And then Fecky was kind of just blowing in the streets. So it was the first time like we was in, like, we're just hood guys or street. We're not into this music. Like, you know, from our era, we weren't cool to rap, as everyone knows. You get me? Like, if you're rapping, like, you know what I mean? So we've come to this Mobiles, and I'm saying, rah, this music thing's actually crept and Cone and them was over there, Tiny Temp. I'm saying, rah, this thing's actually popping off, innit? You get me? People are winning awards. I'm saying, rah, this thing's gonna be massive. So I said to Fecky, yo, I'm coming into this music thing. Like, it looks like it's you know. So that night, I ended up in jail in Scotland.
It's the irony, but yeah.
I ended up in jail in Scotland. But you know what? That time in Scotland, I was in jail for a month. That's what gave me time to think and ponder. And I thought, you know what? When I come out, I'm gonna start a record label. I phoned Tommy Bones, Father Blue. I said, yeah, when I come out, we're gonna open a record label and do this music thing, because we've always been talking about it, but it's time. Like, I've seen where it's about to go, and we need to get involved.
All right, so correct me if I'm wrong, and if this is political, let's take out. Was Fecky a part of GB Records? Because I'm trying to remember.
He wasn't a part of GB Records, but, you know, like,
he used to shout.
As everyone knows, GB was a gang, innit? So
Okay.
before GB Records, there was GB Ghetto Boys, and he was a part of the gang. You get me? And he used to shout out the gang a lot in his music.
Okay, yeah. When you guys went to the Mobiles that first time, yeah, were people? I'm not gonna say what they're scared of you, but like, bro, if I see Ghetto and Peckham Man rolling in, like, if I'm an artist, I'm gonna be thinking, I don't know, you know, this could be a bit. Because I don't think the streets weren't in the music like it is now.
They weren't.
Like, now it's 360, but then they were trying to keep the streets completely away from the industry, per se, if that makes sense.
Well, that night, I realised how much respect we had in the streets, you get me? Because I'm a man, like, I'm just local, like, I don't really mingle and, you know. But that night I kind of realised, rah, that was one of the first nights I realised how much respect that we had in the streets and the value that we held, you get me?
Yeah, in what way? Just the way people would approach you?
Yeah, because, you know, there's other guys, but everyone, you know, like, we're the top guys in the place, you get me? Like, everyone knows what time it is, so I just realised, raw, like, I was looking at my guys, like, I said, raw, like, we're big boys now, like, raw, that was like a moment for me still.
Yeah. So you come out, GB Records starts. Is that then when, are you the first artist signed to GB, or?
So.
And then also, where did you learn the business from it, bro? Like, because setting up a label is one thing, but the business behind it and getting the gems from it is another thing.
Corey Johnson, Boss
Shout out to
Bath,
Corey Johnson, yeah. Bath, okay.
them kind of man show me the music business, you get me?
Corey's done a lot behind the scenes, though.
Yeah. So when we started the label, I didn't want to rap. As I said to you, rapping, why the fuck's man rapping and putting myself out there, and like so much shit comes with rapping. I didn't want to do it. But Bath was like, yo, if you want your label to be successful and people to take it seriously, you have to rap, bro. Because people ain't going to come and feature with the artist that you're trying to push, or no one ain't going to give you that support that you want unless you rap.
And also you have the respect as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So Bath was like, oh, like I've heard you spit. He heard some song. He said, oh, you're cold, like rap. And then that was it.
What is, what's I going to say to you, like, because obviously, like, you know, for me, like, I don't put my face on the internet, bro. I just try and stay. But I'm thinking, like, bro, from coming from the roads, like, what would make you, bro, that's like baiting up yourself, bro. Like, that's the part I always wonder, like.
You know what it is? The way I see it, for us real street rappers that are real, it's like you're putting your life on the line. Rapping and making music ain't just rapping. You're putting your life on the line to make music.
People aren't going to understand why those two situations can come together just from rapping. When you say like you come from that, is it just like everything becomes bait? The movement, just
look, before rap, no one didn't know what I looked like. People knew my name. No one didn't know what I looked like. So you're putting your face on there. You're giving people, you know, a chance to have their opinions on you, and you're just putting yourself in a space where people think now you're on their level, like they can say things about you because of your rap or your image, or you know, like, and before you wouldn't be in that space. And then because you're doing music, so much people will try to challenge you subliminally and just all sorts of shit. Like, it opens up a whole different kind of worms. Like, it's a madness.
So how did you adjust to that? Because I can imagine one, like, and then some people think he just raps, innit? They may forget that man before the rap. Some people just try and just deal with man as a rapper, and if he's not a big rapper, he's. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like you said, the Mobo showed to you that he had respect, but then when you come in as a rapper,
it's a different ball game.
Yeah.
So the respect you have on the street, people are going to respect you in the music industry for the respect you have on the street, but they're not going to respect you for your music. So the music's a total different thing. You have to make your name musically by yourself, you get me? But because you're a street guy, it's going to be so much more difficult because rappers are envious of the guys that are real. So, and because you got the reputation and credibility, they're going to use it against you to you get where you need to go. So people say, oh, don't fuck with them. They're street, they're gang members.
Got it,
And it's easy because they'll say, oh, yeah, they're monsters. Don't bring them. These times you're just trying to do a thing, you get me?
Got it. So like, and that's on the business, the industry, and like they'll try and.
It's only when you surface. It's only when you surface they'll want to be next to you and say, yeah, like he's come from the mud and like he's doing well. And it's only when you surface, but before that they're like, nah.
So my bro, but this is what I'm saying to you. So like, walk me through that. Then how do you internalize when you're thinking like, right, like this is, it's better if I get in this game doing what I'm doing because I'm less of a threat if I'm making money from this than. Like I'm trying to think like it's a violation when it's like you're not even coming with any ill intentions, but people are looking potentially to keep you away from the money, if that makes sense. Like, how do you deal with that part then?
You just got to concentrate on what you're doing. Just concentrate on what you're doing and build your own empire, your own fraternity, build your own lane, your own relationships, your own friends. Just don't concentrate on the negative shit because they'll send you mad. You'll do something mad to someone and they'll say, oh yeah, see, I told you he's a bad guy. Just got to concentrate on your shit.
Those times there were radio stations supporting.
When I come into the industry, they were saying they can't support the rap. We had a project called AR-15. A lot of people don't know that I own 50% of that, like, you know. But we just let Bath do it because we wasn't big in the industry like that. We knew that people wouldn't probably do things if they thought, you know, like we had 50% of it. So, but when we was promoting it, the radio producers were saying, "Right, there's no such thing as UK rap. There's no scene. It's a grime thing." I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, there's rappers popping." Was pushing the Section Boys record and said, "No, it's grime." I was like, "No, that's a rap. Section Boys are rappers." You get me? But so when we come, they weren't like there was a rap scene, but they was pretending like there wasn't a rap scene, and grime was bigger than rap. You get me? And then we had a song that went off. Like our first song went off. Poor Little Rich Kid. But the industry was like, these guys are gangsters, they're talking all this shit, you get me? Snap Capone, Corleone, da-da-da-da-da. So we got a lot of love from the streets, but the industry weren't trying to let us in, you get me?
That's crazy. Is that mainly radio? Is it? I'm thinking that time there, is that a Channel AKA? Where the blocks come from?
We got love on Channel U.
Channel U, okay, cool. So it's mainly what radio. I guess no labels would have been interested at that point.
No.
Because they heard the reputations of, and the shows weren't happening. No. There was like those times there weren't no shows. Like literally pressing up your CDs, going to like Dub Vendor or going wherever you can to try and put them into the. Yeah. That's crazy. So then when did you start to notice, if at all, when the street music started to make sense for, maybe not for yourself but for others? When did you start to see the shift?
Well, when we come into the game, like the industry kind of hide when we come into the game with that song. That song woke up the whole streets. Like Poor Little Rich Kid made it like for real G's. Like it's cool to rap, you know. It's cool to rap. It's cool to show this lifestyle that we're living, you know. And when we come in, it's like we woke up the streets, and even the rappers that were dormant, that were street rappers, they all woke up. So it was like a moment in the game where everyone's like, "Raw, raw man can just come in there and be manself and kind of just cut through." You get me? And that's what that was for us.
But after that, though, when you feel like you caught one, and then it doesn't, quote unquote, you can't capitalize from it, then like how do you motivate yourself to continue then? Because it must have been a bit of a kick in the teeth when you're thinking, we caught one and this is against us.
It was my first track. I didn't know the industry. I didn't know the music game. Bath told me that the track, like he told me to put more into the track, or I didn't listen. I didn't know the music. It was just like, oh, we're here.
What do you mean put more into the track?
He told me to PR it, just do more to the record. He said, yo, this is gone. Do more to the record. You get me? And I was like, but we didn't know. We put out the record, it went off. I see people copying shit from that video in videos today. Like we done a circle with the Rollies. I see hundreds of videos like that in the UK. Like I see so much people copying our style and stuff that we do. It's ridiculous. You get me?
And they don't hail up.
No one don't pay no homage.
Got it. Yeah. But you know it's funny when you say that people, the fans wouldn't realize. But when you're on the inside, you can think like, wait, hold on. People they're watching the videos. They're getting inspiration. All right, cool. Let's take it for ourselves, because the fans can't usually connect the dots. It's like so like minuscule. Yeah. Okay, look. So for me personally, like I looked at a lot of Giggs' influence as being something that really, like I remember when he had the issues with the BBC and he was at the last straw, and you know he was like basically just saying, look, the radio station's gonna have to like let real rap in, so to speak, and guys from the streets. Someone like Giggs kicking down the door, does that also help some of what you were doing at the same time, parallel, or is it different?
It's different because I got to have my own struggle. He kicks down the door for street guys that and he represents us street guys as a whole. But you know, like I've got to have my own struggle. I've got to make my own lane. You get me? People are still blocking me.
Still,
there's things that I, you know, like people are telling people, "Oh, don't fuck." It happens, innit? Everyone's got to create their own lane. It's not like he's booted off the door and I can just go and walk through the door. I've got to create my lane to get to that door. You get me? But he's a pillar in the UK rap, and for street guys, he's definitely a pillar and a pioneer in this thing. You get me?
So not to be, because I'm only going on my interaction with you. Obviously, I know very serious guys. You get me? Like, but I don't understand from our communication, the things we talk about, how we interact, why people would have an opinion to not just want to take you as on face value, not on reputation. But that's what I'm saying. I don't. When you're saying it's still, you're still being blocked. Obviously, I don't know what's going on in it. But I find it a bit surprising because I can see the label, I can see you've got a project coming out, a compilation project also coming out. Everything that I see, all the optics I see, is a black man who's trying to have a foot in the music industry. So I'm not understanding where the blocks are still coming from. Because it seems like it's already clear that you're just doing music, quote unquote, if that makes sense.
Well, you can see like a lot of the artists that I got are talented. Like there was a time when T Zanders put up a freestyle and then it went viral. And Wiley posted up the freestyle. Every single artist in the industry was supporting this artist and commenting on Wiley's posts. As soon as they realised she's GB, no one is supporting the artist like that openly. You get me? And that's just a prime example of whatever it is. But it's not nothing that I dwell on. It's not like I go home and say, oh, like, I don't care about blockage or whatever. I just, like, no one can't stop me from putting out music. No one can't stop me from doing what I'm doing. They can't stop my artists from doing what they're doing. We don't want the fake love anyway. At least we know what it is, innit? Like, we just crack on.
Okay, so it's more, let's say, the artist community, potentially.
It's that, there's a lot of things going on, but, like, I don't really want to dwell into that or, like, highlight it's just, you know, like, people are trying to block, man. It is what it is. Like, I don't really care about it. Like, we move forward, we make records, you know. All I'm trying to do is concentrate on making hits.
How expensive is it, like, having a label? Like, how much self-investment do you have to put in? I think a lot of people, like, when they say you have to pay the cost to be the boss, like, it's not. I know it's not light, bro, but
having an independent record label, just know that you're gonna go broke a lot of times. You know, like, it's all or nothing. If you've got multiple artists that you're paying for out of your own pocket, videos. Each video is like 3 bags to 5 bags, radio, plug-in, PR. It's all coming out of your pocket. Like, you're going to spend a lot of money. I've been spending money for years on this GB thing.
Shows how much you believe in it.
Yeah. It's only like this year the company's starting to make money.
It's a lot of investment, bro. Like, and PRs ain't cheap, radio pluggers.
You're going to get ripped off a lot as well. As a new person coming into the music industry, especially from the streets, people are going to rip you off left, right and centre. You get me? But it's part and parcel, you know, and you only learn from these things.
Let's talk about your mixtape. The name of it is an Italian name. I got it wrong when I pronounced it. What's it? Is it
Omerta.
Omerta. What does that mean?
It means codes of silence.
Okay.
You're not cooperating with the police, the government, or whatever, you know. If you chose to be in the street lifestyle and that's what you represent, then you shouldn't be talking to these people when things go wrong.
I was expecting that to be out last year. We were talking about this, bro. What happened? Like, was it done and dusted?
I spend a lot of my time and effort with the artists. So, you know, I make sure that the artists are before me, because they're the next generation and they're what's going to keep things flowing. So I kind of put my stuff to the back and push the artists. So yeah, I've got a mixtape ready. We've got 2 mixtapes ready. So I'm just waiting for the right time for Corleone to have his space and put out some music.
And then the other mixtape's going to be what, the group compilation?
The GB EP.
Okay, how many tracks?
That's coming out next month, or I don't know when this interview will be out, but yeah, that's coming out in February.
And that's the whole team?
Yeah.
Cool. And then with that then, what's your, like, it's all distribution and such, like, how do you look at, like, what's your role in actually piecing the tracks together? Are you having overall say on, like, the track listing? Are you in the studio with all the artists, or are you just getting things sent in to you?
I was at some of the sessions with the GB project. I wanted to have an overall sound. So, you know, like, some of the artists are drill artists, some of them make other music, but I just wanted it to be an overall sound, not one sound. A lot of the tracks, like, I made the idea for the tracks or the idea for the sound. And I've also got A&R, Ibs. He will listen to the records and say, oh, Corley, I think this is a banger, I think that's a banger. And then we'll kind of just whittle down the tracks We've got like 6 tracks that we agreed that are bangers that we're putting out. We shot a couple videos already from in the summer last year, and yeah, it's just.
No, that's it, bro. And that's next month. Cause bro, listen now, I'm gonna tweet that it's coming out next month.
Okay, yeah, definitely coming out next month. The GB EP is coming out next month. We've got videos shot, everything's done, mixed, mastered. That's ready to go.
Back on your project, you used about it almost seems. Let me be careful with my words. I want to say anti-establishment, but how do you see like we're black men in a white country? A lot of the things that our upbringing is based on. Sometimes it feels like it's social conditioning, you know, or what's the word? Social engineering. Like we're put in the most poor places. The system doesn't work well for us. Like, how do you, like, you're a father now as well, right? How do you see the system now for, like, the next generation of black people, and also how it served you as a black man?
Obviously, in the United Kingdom, there's the underlying race issue, but we have to give thanks to the generations before us to where we are now, you know, to the shit they was going through. We can't complain. Do you know what I mean? Like, stuff's hard for us, but it's not as hard as it was for them, or when, like, our grandparents first come to the UK, and you know what I mean? Like, we can go anywhere and walk anywhere in the UK, and, you know, like, you know, them times there, they couldn't even walk into certain places, or you know, so it's the underlying race issues there, but, you know, like, it can't stop us. You know, you can become something if you put your mind to it. Like my kids, I told them, if you put your mind to it and your heart into something, you can do or become whatever you want. Nothing's not stopping you, you know. The underlying race issue will always be there. It's nothing that we can hide from. We just have to know it, understand it, and move forward.
Yeah, and music obviously is a powerful tool that we have now to try and, like, show that we can. I guess it's the easiest way for, I hate to say guys who've been in jail, but if you've got a criminal record, it's going to be hard to actually make a decent livelihood with that criminal record against you. But just piggybacking off that, when you have a record, do you think, you know what, I have to, it's either just music or the roads again, because I'm not going to be able to sustain a lifestyle. I'm not going to get, the employment chances is very limited when you've got maybe serious cases or charges against you.
You know what it is? It's like when you're younger, see, when I was younger, my mindset was totally different to how it is now. When you're younger, you're just on the road. You just want to make money. You're not thinking about, like, you ain't got kids or nothing. You got no responsibility. But see, like, when you're a big grown man my age and you got kids to look after and people look up to you and depending on you, you have to think at life totally different. And doesn't mean because you got a criminal it's going to be harder. But if you really want to get a job, or you really want to learn a profession or do whatever you got to do, you can actually do it, you know. You don't want to be 40 years old still trapping on the roads and having to look over your shoulder, Jake's booming off your fucking yard every day. Do you know what I mean? Like, you end up 60 odd or 50, no pension on your face. The Jakes have took everything you've got, you know, like, shit's serious. So you got to start looking at life seriously. And thinking about the people after you, thinking about your children, your children's children. You know what I mean?
That generational wealth.
Yeah.
Are you going to get into films at all? Because your story does sound like a movie, though.
Like, a lot of people ask me about the film thing, because obviously Rapman and the Blue Story and whatever, but, you know, like, that's not my profession, innit? Not because Rapman's successful from filming, I'm thinking, I'm going to jump up, we need to make a film. I'm concentrating on music. Like, later on, when I've done what I need to do with the music and I've got time for other things, then yeah, maybe I'll dwell into that. But my passion's not really into filming or films or anything like that.
No, good. So just also when you spoke about, like, like the difference, and obviously that maturity, and that's the gift of life. When you get to a certain age, you look at things differently. But the things that you spoke about, like people's doors getting kicked, was that happening for you prior to that?
That was happening as a kid, you know. Like, I've got memories as a kid in the kitchen drinking from a milk bottle. The Jake's booming off the yard. You get me? Like, my yard, I couldn't count how much times my yard got boomed off back then till, you know, Besson Street, till in other part of Newcastle. Like, the yard was always getting boomed off. Like, that was a normal thing.
The second how dumb, yeah. When they do that, yeah, and they mess up the yard, do they fix the door? Do they keep like?
Yeah, they don't. You got to sort it. You got to pick up all the pieces, innit? You know, you got to pick up all the pieces.
Even if they don't find anything, like they don't even. Serious. Does those type of things put like was it just your mum you're living with? Was it your mum and your dad?
And my mother and my brothers.
But does that put so was it you who was, or you said it was you and your brothers kind of thing?
What I'm trying to say is, when I was a kid, the door wasn't getting kicked off for me. So as a kid, it was a thing I saw, and it was just something I was used to. Like, oh, the boy them's coming, you know what I mean? So I kind of grew up into that, and I was used to that. The credibility speaks for itself. So everyone knows what I'm about, you know, like, no one can't doubt my authenticity, you know, like, people can't, there's not many rappers that can talk about the shit I talk about, you know.